Hey, I'm on my porch, and there's nothing like hearing the voices of kids in the background. Prioritizing family wellness through comprehensive checkups is what I'm focusing on today in this episode. And there's nothing like knowing that our loved one's health is more than just a routine visit. It's just making sure that our family has a peak condition year round, from the medical history reviews, looking at physical examinations, looking at essential screenings. Checkups benefit our families. It benefits each of our members in our family. I'm going to give you about 5 key points that go along with it, and I just don't want you to forget how important prioritizing your family's well being is, not just during the summer. I know I'm giving it for the summer, but it's all year round. So I'm going to go ahead and go back in and give you a few more tips. And I want to say welcome to Cold Press Conversations and enjoy the kids' voices. Isn't this amazing to be outside and hear them? I love it. All right, let's go back in and let's get this episode started. You're listening to Cold Press Conversations with Dr. Jewel White Williams, a lover of numbers, lists, and a good glass of cold pressed juice, who is sharing episodes each week to help you explore the back end of healthcare and health sciences. Where a lot of that grit is done, we'll dive into topics covering research, education, and clinical practices, as well as guest shows with other leaders in the field. Pull up a seat and let's dive into these amazing and game-changing conversations. Hello, I am Dr. Jewel, and I am so pleased to be with you today on Cold Press Conversations. I have a doctorate in health sciences, and I am a former administrator of a pre-K 12 school system. I am a former teacher. I am currently an EMT. I do work with the community with their health, and I'm also an EMS researcher. And today, I thought I'd come to you because this is our summer wellness series, and I thought I'd come to you today in regards to how we focus on our doctor visits. And the reason I'm bringing up doctor visits is because many people about ready for sports physicals, or if they're going back to school because you have a kindergartner getting ready to go back to school and you need to present their physical. Also, if we're talking about those who are in their 20s to 40s, it's a habit because when you were in college, you just wanted to get your physical before you went to school. And those habits tend to remain with us throughout our lives, regardless if you are 40 and above. So today I'm going to talk about doctor visits, more specifically because of the summertime, and people tend to feel more apt to going to a physician during that time. It could be because it's sunny outside. They feel better because it is the summertime. So there are several things that I want to discuss with you. I'm going to be reviewing scheduling the appointment, vaccination records, the physical exam, and then some additional screenings that I will be discussing with you today. As I have stated earlier, please get your pen and paper because there's going to be a nugget, a gem that you're going to be like, oh, I should have written this down. And I can't wait to give this all to you. All right. So we're going to begin with scheduling an appointment. Scheduling the appointment is extremely crucial. When we schedule an appointment, we need to look at the health needs so that you can address it before maybe the new year comes in. So like I said, so many people believe that summer is the time where they find the time to take care of these doctor visits. But you also have to keep in mind that when you're trying to schedule even just a checkup or a routine appointment, that medical office tend to be busy during the summertime because of just what I stated. So when you schedule early, it tends to help you secure a convenient time so that you can fit that into your schedule. So planning ahead is one of the key things you need to do when scheduling an appointment. Calling ahead to make sure that it is your preferred date or you've secured your appointment. You may have to be a little more flexible with your scheduling preferences, because those popular times can fill up quickly. And always set a reminder on your phone. So those are four things within the appointment section, but I'm going to elaborate more on it. When scheduling your appointment, like I said, we know doctors' offices can get extremely busy. They have multiple appointments that they're trying to get in. And if you have a child that you're trying to get in because of a sports or a school, or even colleges require you to have a physical prior to coming in, most colleges do, all the ones that I've communicated with, need to have a physical before you attend college, especially if you're living on campus. So right now is midsummer, and you're saying, oh, I forgot to schedule my appointment. Most doctor's offices find a way to get you in because they want you to be seen. So, getting that appointment and sticking to the appointment will be critical. And if you can't make the appointment, and many of us know that they charge an extra fee for cancellation, at least cancel at least 48 hours ahead of time or reschedule it if you can, because you don't want your child to miss out going into kindergarten. You don't want to miss your child going to a sports event or a sports physical. You want them to obtain that. And so this is really crucial so that you have that opportunity to meet that need. Now, when I say calling ahead, so just making sure that you have secured the date. Oftentimes, we have online appointment systems that you can use based off of your insurance or your physician's office. And then you can pull it up and see that appointment date and time. Planning ahead, calling ahead, flexibility, and make sure that you have your reminder. And when I say flexibility, if you're calling and say, hey, I need this because my child starts school in 2 weeks, most offices will try their best to help you, but if you can't find it, then that means you need to find another office. Some urgent care centers have physicals, not all, some do. Some free clinics are providing it, and some communities. So you could probably call your community services board and find out if there are any free clinics going around for physicals for your child so they can attend school. Now it's time to move over to the next one, reviewing your vaccination records. When we go about our vaccination records and consider to check the requirements that you need to have for immunization for schools. Some students need to have updates, and that's even for the college level. You may need an update because there's some vaccinations or immunizations that need to be had and you need to receive. So make sure that you have that available. Um, and this way, one thing I used to have is a record. I had a record book. Most doctor's offices, once your child has been born, they give you a little book that tells of all your medical records, and they can put it in there. And so remember to bring that to your appointment. And then that way you can keep track and find out, oh, I need to schedule this particular one. They know, but having that there is going to be important because when you go to the office, you want to take it with you so they can update that vaccine record for you. And there are some people who do not want any vaccinations. So it would probably be best to discuss what are some other options or what are some of the risks that are possible of not receiving a vaccination. We have to respect everyone's wishes. So if they don't receive any vaccinations or immunizations, you need to find out what the risks are. So at least because there are some religious beliefs that do not prefer them vaccinations or immunizations. And then another thing I want you to consider is when your child does get his or her immunization or vaccine, find out what the side effects are. So just saying, be vigilant. This is the purpose of the Summer Wellness Series, is about being vigilant about what one needs to have in order to just live accordingly and being up to date with their vaccines or immunizations and ensuring that you are staying healthy. So some offices have educational resources So instead of saying, oh, can I ask for the side effects, you can ask for their resource pamphlet. And then that way you have it on hand and you can just keep it. Because if you have one child or you have 5 or 6 or 7 children, at least you have that one pamphlet in your hand. And so you know exactly what you need to look for, side effects. And that way you know what to look for. It makes you feel comfortable as a mom. All right. And even if you're an adult and you need various vaccines, because if you have a vaccine and you need to take it, um, then it may have 2 doses. It may have a pre-dose and then the final dose itself. Some have 3. So you need to find out exactly the process or how the vaccines are given to you. So learn about that. So that's another thing that I want to do. All right, time to move on to the next one. Medication review. Not everyone is on any kind of medication. Some children are not on any medication. Some adults are not on a medication. But if your child is on medication, this is an opportunity to have a discussion with your physician about your child's medication or your own medication. If you're just because you just have a force of habit going to the physician during the summer. This provides you an opportunity to make sure I call it a medication review because they're going over the medication itself, your own health, the dose that you're taking, how you're feeling, what's going. It's there to help you and support you to ensure that you are within the same realm. Now, one thing that I find is really interesting. When you're in the doctor's office, and I stated this in one of my other videos about making that list. Take that medication list that you have. Okay? Take that medication list that you have. Take it to the doctor's office. Make sure you have the same dosages on that list. And some parents I know just bring all the bottles. That is a good thing. What you're doing is making sure it's a medication reconciliation. So you're reconciling, you're going through, it's kind of like a checkbook. You know how you go back and look at your information? You're going to go back and look and that doctor should be able to help you. They only have a short period of time, so you've got to be organized. You catching my drift? They have a short period of time to get to you and to discuss these things. So you have to be organized as the mom or the patient going through this process. So make sure you have a medication review or a medication reconciliation so that they can go ahead and look at all the meds you're on, your child is on, or whomever you're walking in the door with. It could be your niece, your grandchild. Okay. And make sure that you're looking everything that's there. Make sure you're reviewing the allergies that your child has had, any side effects that they've had to any medications. This is an opportunity to give the information to your physician or even the nurse who's checking you in, this information, because this gives them an opportunity to see the whole scope of who you are. Because if the child is still super active or you've changed something or they've changed the diet and they're no longer as active or something, they need to understand what the changes are since the last visit that you've had with the physician with that medication since they gave you that dose. All right. So I just want to make sure you have that. Oh, when you have the medication, don't forget that you want, and I'm talking about the dose, making sure that what you have on the bottle is what you're doing. And if you have any questions, it's your opportunity to present it to the physician and saying, this is the bottle, this is the medication that my child has had, this is what I've been giving them. And make sure you read it right. This is an opportunity where the doctor can hear what you're saying, making sure you are administering the medication appropriately to your child based off of what you're reading. And so it's best for you to have yourself ready. I got to move on to the next one, and it's called the physical exam. And that's the purpose of y'all pretty much coming, to the physician because you're coming for your annual checkup, your physical, or if it's a sports physical, then you need to have it. Oftentimes they do an assessment of growth. They check the heart with the blood pressure. They listen Some spend or parents are going out and making sure kids have an EKG, where they put the leads on and they just do a quick EKG to see how the child is doing. What I'm telling you is that it will be important for you to, when they listen to the heart, what are they hearing? If they did an EKG, what are they seeing? Are they listening to the breath sounds, listening to the back and the front of the lungs? Especially if the child is asthmatic, you want them to definitely listen to it. Okay, even if it's a physical, they palpate, they kind of tap your abdomen area, all four quadrants, to see how it feels, if there's any change or abnormalities, if it's tender, um, if your child's having digestive issues, not going to the bathroom properly, make sure you mention it. Children should be going to the bathroom. I'm not talking about urinating. I'm talking about the number two. Um, Neurological assessment. It's just like motor skills, making sure they can reflex, and they check their sensory functions if they can hear. Gave an example of what's going to come up soon. Ooh. But sometimes they do look in your ear to see exactly what's going on. Okay. They look in the orifice of your nose. They check to see whether or not your pupils can dilate when they put a light to it. Making sure that when they go left, right, that they are able to see that it's doing what they're asking to do, making sure it's functioning and moving appropriately. And then they're going to check the skin, and they may not do it while you're looking, okay? Because you can give an assessment while you're working with the patient and you're still moving along and doing everything, checking the pulse, listening to heart sounds, and you're still looking at the skin at the same time. So if you have any rashes, or you have an allergic reaction, or you have something that's really odd, be sure to bring it up. And like I said, it's kind of hard. They usually work with one thing. I'm just stating that these are opportunities for you to at least present and try to get in 7 to 10 minutes in the doctor's office. That they usually only deal with one issue, but for a physical exam, this is an opportunity to have a quick check. Okay. And this is, I know that's a lot right there alone. But the physical exam is important. All right, I'm moving on to the next one, and it's called the screenings. So I'm talking about vision, I'm speaking of the hearing, and I'm talking about dental. So we're talking about the doctor's office. Now it's time to go outside of the physical physician's office, and we're going to talk about the physical assessment that deals with the eyes. Okay, so seeing an ophthalmologist is something that is highly recommended for you at least once a year. If you don't do it, at least twice a year, but every 2 years. But once a year is probably one of the better things that you could do. I'm telling you, that way you can get it checked. And oftentimes, um, when we read a lot or we're in front of the screen a lot, and kids are doing that all the time, they're in front of the screen, there can be eye changes. So keep that in mind. And when they go to the eye doctor, they're just not just at the pupil, they're looking at the iris, they're looking at the blood vessels that are there, they're going further back and looking even further to see how the nerves are doing. What they do is it's called a visual acuity test, and they try to see whether or not you have, maybe you're nearsighted or farsighted. Um, and it's just to see whether or not there is a refractive error that is there. And the refractive error is nearsightedness or farsightedness. And it's a quick vision screening that can happen for you. Hearing. Not examination or hearing screening, to just test your auditory function and see whether or not there are any hearing impairments or abnormalities. Now, if you feel or detect that your child is not listening to you appropriately, or you as an adult, you feel that there are changes from one ear to the other, then it's an opportunity for you to see someone. There are several places that do hearing screenings. Some ophthalmologists offices, the eye doctor, okay, their offices offer hearing screenings. I'm seeing that more and more. So if they do, opportunity, find out whether or not it's covered under your insurance, get it done for your child to make sure he or she is hearing Let's go to the dental examinations. I'm checking your oral health. I call it's the gateway to everything. That's why brushing 2 times a day or at least after every meal is highly recommended. Brushing your teeth, brushing your gums, looking to see whether, and that gives them an opportunity to see whether there's decay, there are cavities, and want to make sure there's no gum disease that's happening. It gives an opportunity for your child to hear about what good dental hygiene practices are for maintaining their teeth. Because when you start early, it can become a habit. And once that habit continues, then it becomes practice of everyday life. And that's what you want for your child. When you start them out doing these physicals, doing these screenings, and it happens every single year, it should be ingrained in your kids after a while because you've done it. And they see you going to the doctor for your annual screenings, annual examinations. So just making sure that some children need fluoride treatments. 9 times out of 10, they give it. Sometimes they do dental sealants. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to go over a quick review of all of the things that I just discussed in regards to summer wellness and dealing with your own health. All right, that was a lot. I'm giving you some really deep information, and hopefully y'all are taking advantage of it. All right, so here we go. So scheduling an appointment, making sure that you plan ahead, that you're calling ahead, making sure that you know that you have to be flexible, especially if you're calling now where it's close to the end of July and you need to have your child's physical in before they start school. And if your school starts in August, okay, you're hitting it pretty close. And make sure that you set a reminder for yourself for the date. Review your vaccination records or your immunization records. Check the requirements. Look at your state immunization requirements for school entry and any updates to vaccine schedules recommended by healthcare authorities. Update your records. Bring your vaccination record to the appointment to ensure they document it. Discuss any options if there's some vaccinations due. The best time to schedule them, whether or not there are any side effects, get the pamphlet or get some extra resources. And like I said, sometimes those extra resources can help you. You know, your child, the Department of Health, they actually give certain immunizations as well. I should have mentioned that earlier. They do give some immunizations as well. So if you're looking for a specific immunization and your doctor's office doesn't have it, you can call your health department, and 9 out of 10, they can give you an idea of where to get it, or they may be giving it themselves. All right. Medication review. Make sure that you have a list of your medications, a comprehensive list of the name of the medication, the dose, and how many times or what's happening with it. If you don't have that, then just bring the bottles with you in a baggie. All right. Discuss any side effects that may have happened with your child if they're experiencing anything with their medications. Allergies, tell the doctor if you have seen some allergies and you stop something. You shouldn't have not stopped any medication, okay? You should call your doctor. If you have to stop it, of course, if there's an allergy, but what I'm saying is make sure you call your doctor immediately to let them know, okay? Or if there's an adverse reaction that's happening, like something is happening that you didn't like, call immediately, never wait. And if it's super immediate and they need 911, then call it, okay? Allergies, make sure, so we discussed the allergies, the side effects. Make sure you're properly putting your medications in the appropriate place. Make sure you read it because they'll tell you don't put it in sunlight, have it stored at a certain temperature. Keep that in mind. Physical exam, they may look at your assessment of growth for your child, for you, cardiovascular health, respiratory function, abdominal examination, neurological assessment, skin assessment. Those are some things that may happen. And this gives you an opportunity to look at the underlying health issues that may have for your student that may affect their school performance or just their general well-being. So keep that in mind. And the fifth one is hearing, vision, and dental screening, or vision, hearing, and dental screening. So keeping that in mind. So when you're looking at the vision screening, they're trying to find out and detect your visual acuity, whether or not there is a detection of refractive errors, such are they nearsightedness or are they farsightedness. If your child needs glasses, it's an opportunity for you to look and find out what your insurance can cover. Hearing screenings, if you feel like your child is having some auditory issues, like they're not responding appropriately, go ahead and get it checked while you have an opportunity. Dental examinations, it's good to make sure that there's no dental decay or any kind of gum disease. There's no cavities. Sometimes they may offer fluoride or a sealant, a dental sealant. And then sometimes they may give you additional resources that you may need to have. Like they may say, hey, I had a hearing screening, but I'm gonna have to send you to an audiologist. Or you went to see, it depends on whether or not you need to have something that is a specialist, a greater specialist, someone who can help you with a higher level of care for the needs that you have. I gave you a list of resources in regards to summer wellness dealing with the doctor's visit. I hope that today you will take heed to the information that I've provided to you. I am elated that I was able to give this to you for you as well as for your family. I told you it's not just for the child, it is for the family as well. So if you have not done any of these items, put it on your list today or get on the call and start. This is Dr. Jewel, and I wish you the best for this summer. Until next time, I'm signing off. I want you to take care of yourself. And remember that knowledge is power when it comes to your health, and to your cognitive happiness. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Cold Press Conversations. If you love this episode as much as I did, I need you to head on over and subscribe so you never miss an episode. This is Dr. Jewel signing off to health and cognitive happiness.